fake it up. He finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's a different day, but we got the same thing. Quals are back for stage 2. My name is CDAPS. Joining me at my side is not Cookies. Instead, it is Benny filling in for our poor man CJ, who is stuck in a lot of traffic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm assuming he got stuck in traffic because of all the snow. It's snowing everywhere.
Yeah, most likely. We don't know. He was very, very confused and thinking that maybe there's some sort of civil war going on up there and wherever he lives. But as we stand, we've got a whole bunch of qual games coming up, a lot of teams coming in. I believe we're about 46 for qual 1, which is a pretty good number. Top 16 will make it, but only 4 will make it all the way through.
It's cutthroat. You gotta win those games. Gotta win those games. It's gonna be a difficult day for some people, but it's gonna be interesting to see who makes it.
Yeah, because right now we start off good old-fashioned format, a bunch of BO1s, and then tomorrow, or actually, pardon me, on the third day, then it goes to BO3s, and you just gotta keep on winning. And that's how it goes. It's here. Everything is on the line.
One shot, one opportunity. You guys got this. You got 2 qualifiers though, and this is only the first one. Got 2 chances to make it stage 2. So look at the AC, of course, just like you saw in stage 1, we got our 4 groups. We've already got we had the playoff teams from last stage are the ones who already filled out for this stage, I'm assuming.
We had a combination of the top 4 teams as well as some of the old returning CL rosters, just to make sure we had a nice blend of teams coming back for invite spots. But like we said, there are 4 spots up for grabs this weekend. And then with the whole everything happening, there's a whole bunch of Raleigh major format, which is 4 groups of 4, where 2 teams will get out of each group and just raw BO3s. You get to play everybody unless you just straight out win. So let's say you win your first game, then you win your second, you're already in. Yep. And then you'll be playing against another team that and then yeah, it's a whole big thing, but it makes a lot more sense when you actually look at it. It's a lot harder to explain than it really is.
And that'll be during the regular season anyway too. These are the teams that have already made it, ones that have been invited back per last season. Of course, you have Wichita Wolves, IF, One Shot, and Wichita Wolves Academy. I forgot the first ones. I think actually have Academy actually. We got Gashers, Goons, Mystic, Aero Academy, and Carnico. And these are like I was talking about, teams that did well last stage, and CL teams that got re-invited back to our league here. So it's gonna be looking interesting.
Yeah, and Wichita Wolves Academy, that's the old Surf Corps who are actually defending champions coming back, as well as Team Mystic. That's two-faced with a little bit of a facelift.
New faces, new name, not really new names, but new faces. Not really new faces either, actually. Same faces, same names, but just in different formats, really. But it's interesting to see these teams still thrive in different organizations, and we'll see how they do in the regular season. But still, that's not till after these 2 qualifiers. We'll get to that later on in a few weeks. Now we start to see how teams are going to take those 8 spots, 4 up the grabs, like CDAP said, this coming weekend. Let's see the teams who are participating. We've got 46 in here. We'll look through all 46 real quick and look at those names. You'll probably see some names like we saw from the standalone tournament.
Chess Club, they did pretty well. That's Gunner with Mr. B and a whole bunch of other Gunners coming out. In Control Nation, that's JJ's squad of a bunch of old players coming back, like Serial as well as Sirius. Outlast, they just picked up a new player who goes by Woos. Excited to see what he brings to the table. West Garfield and Gopher, you should know them from that standalone tournament. West Garfield, Forrest on his absolute revenge tour. They're trying to capitalize on all of those points they got from runner-up in the standalone tournament, trying to punch their ticket in towards the Pro-Am, as well as a whole bunch of teams returning, like Eclectic. They actually qualified for the league last time in a massive surprise, as well as Didn't Ask, Team Goosick. They did really well in the quals, but weren't quite able to make it. But Benny, one of the most interesting teams would be down in the bottom middle, Noob Slayers.
Should we wait for it to be like surprise whenever we see them play?
No, it was all over Twitter. That is a Trist Go For stack that managed to defeat back-to-back world champion Pengu. So Pengu decided to join them. And no, that is not a joke.
Yeah, and I think apparently the rumor is that they're all going to play Recruit is the rumor right now. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that would be interesting.
That would indeed be interesting. Just a lot of secondary utility, no primary utility.
Yeah, just talking grenades, smoke grenades, flashes. You got all that. But hey, we're on the second page now. We got In Control. No, it's not In Control Nation. It's not JJ Squad. It's a different squad where there are a bunch of trolls.
Yeah, see, that is the team known as Womp from the standalone tournament. That's a whole bunch of old In Control players like Bone and Yusuke, plus Rafi from Challenger League, a man named Turbo, who's pretty good at the video game, as well as a couple other people like Jazzman Cass as a sub, which is always very, very interesting. As well as we have Lycus Empire. That is the old Mystic Academy roster under a new banner with a couple of other players. My collegiate team, NCSU, they're dead set in the middle with right to their left, you have Whittle Kitties, which is the remnants of the Okami team that is currently in CL, with Nocturnes right below them. Pox departed that roster, and in comes Papa P, Mr. Poison.
Yeah, hey, Which Wolves Academy, of course, we talked about that's the old Surf roster, now the Wichita Wolves Academy roster, and now you got some games like Agony Esports. I think actually Agony Esports, it's the guy Pandai who put that crazy clip on Twitter with the Flores drone, the Rotero drone jumping on the ceiling.
Yes.
Yeah, he's from that roster.
Holes.
Yeah, he's from that roster.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And right next to him, Glizzy Warriors. That's some players from Converse College, mainly Ice Cold, who is known for wearing a hot dog costume on stream, so that's why they're the Glizzy Warriors. And it makes sense. Maybe we'll bring that same energy.
Maybe we'll bring that. Maybe we'll bring the same energy. We got Bubble Blowers though too. I think Bubble Blowers actually is a roster of Hitman, Panic, JB, some old names, Evil Clown, Trippy. Okay. So they get definitely some old names coming back here, and it's always interesting to see, like, not OCG for God's sakes.
Exactly. And then you have Synthetic Esports. That's a return of an old org name that we thought died long ago, led by Tofu. Windstorm, a team that has been upsetting a lot of rosters and getting to closed quals, but never quite able to make it. Hopefully this is going to be the new kind of step forward for them as they can break through. Asylum Patients. That is the good old-fashioned, wonderful Bernie's Tacos roster, as well as not OCG, or not CG, not OCG, whatever. That's the old Canadian CL OCG roster with people like Phoenix, TJing, Kenji. That should be good if the old guys still got it.
Let's see if they still got it. And then we got a few other names like Dallas Vandal. I found this out. I've seen them around. Eevee was from our last standalone tournament. I still remember their name. Don't know about Polo Sun, Somalia, or Plat 3 Platoon, but hey, we'll see out of these crazy names who makes it to the end there. Because hey, anything can happen with these teams. I don't know who these players are, but maybe these unknown players are gonna be the next runners up who are gonna throw us all in a loop.
Yeah, I mean, there's always one or two teams that just come out of nowhere and surprise us. Like we had Eclectic coming in last time, and we also have the Valkyrie roster. Good old Valkyrie roster coming in at the very end. Hopefully they can pop off because they're the only team on this participation teams thing, because, you know, it's alphabetical, kind of ish, maybe V's at the end. That's why we'll just put them down here. But overall, looking at a lot of the rosters, things are really interesting. There's a lot of just shuffling around of players, and sure, they might not have been as successful in the last quals for stage 1 or as successful in the standalone tournament, but maybe when you have just the right pieces, if the puzzle falls into place, you can get a really good picture and that could maybe qualify.
You said pieces of the puzzle. I just saw a tweet. You just threw me off so much of that by that.
I mean, hey, life is indeed a puzzle, but if you were kind of confused at just seeing the names, we went through and scanned really quickly and tried to rank as best of our ability in a very quick amount of time of what teams should you be watching.
Top 16 teams we think are going to make it. Top 4, of course, from our standalone tournament. West Garfield, you saw them play. You know all the players, mostly. Pretty sure you should know all the players on that team pretty much at this point. Chess Club, of course, like Steve's talking about, they did fantastic in your previous T3 leagues and in our standalone tournament. You got Nocturnes, of course, a CL team now with different roster. They brought in some new players like top before, and Eclectic, who was in our previous stage.
Yeah, and then as we keep on going down, sure, these aren't like necessarily in like the most order, but in a general idea, maybe you could slide one or two here and there. But Gusick, they've shown some good strengths coming through in this qual format, as well as Gopher, Noob, Slayers, and Whittle Kitties. Hopefully they all bring the same energy. We talked about them a little bit before. Gopher did great in that standalone tournament, even though they're more so almost the Aerial Arise roster that didn't quite not everybody wanted to compete. So they have like a couple of pieces here and there, and still should be fun. Noob Slayer, Pengu, Triss, Dolly, and the rest of the boys, as well as on the side of Whittle Kitties, you have people like J Slime, you have Exo, Lava, well-known people in the community that hopefully can punch a ticket.
Yeah, I think the old Okami roster that just kind of wants to keep playing, but not maybe under that same name, or some of those players still sticking around. But hey, after that, we got Outlast, who has been that CL roster, well, was CL roster. They've been changing some players around. think they said he brought on Woos recently, so we'll see how that goes for them. In Control, like I said, WOP, that's the old roster of In Control way back in the day for Nivozo, freaking Yusuke, Bone. Then the actual In Control Nation, which is JJ Blast team in Emergence. I'm not totally sure, but we'll see. Maybe if JJ's prayers will help out this.
Hey, maybe, just maybe. I know that Warrior on Emergence is an absolute demon and he's scary, so maybe he can just hard carry them in, which could be nice. But we transition even more rosters. We have 4 more, only 16 for you to digest. That's NCSU. Got a soft place in my heart for them, as well as not OCG. I kind of like seeing the old guys. Maybe they'll be able to bring it. Like we said, didn't ask, and like his Empire, didn't ask their Pug Stack, but they're one of the scarier ones that have been together for a while. They can really be inconsistent, but when they're really on, they're a scary team. As well as like his Empire, a couple of new pieces from that old Academy roster that now have a new org. They're feeling a lot better, and hopefully they can punch through.
Hey, hopefully too. Hopefully the people can punch their ticket stage 2. And like I said, some of these teams, yeah, of course, like I said before, a lot of shuffling of different teams. We're interested to see how these changes work out for these guys, because everyone's making changes. Everybody's trying to figure things out, in this off season between, nothing really going on when it comes to that circuit at the moment.
Yeah, and if you didn't see your team on here, or you didn't see your team earlier on when we went through the whole 42, there's another qualifier coming up. It's next weekend. So if you couldn't get your team together this week, it's not all over. Only 4 of the 8 remaining spots will be kind of accounted for after this weekend. And even if you don't make it, you can go in and hop in next week. There's only another $50 or $80 if you had the free pass. If you had the full pass for both quals, you get both for $80. Save $20, which is a good deal.
Hey, savings are important. Yeah, if you're thinking you're gonna try both teams and you're thinking you're not sure if you can make it or not, it's better to spend 80 than spend 100, knowing that, oh god, I gotta go for another one. But hey, up to you guys. But still, yeah, hey, exclamation mark play in the chat if you don't know. Just check out those links. You'll see the first link for this qualifier, then you'll see the next link for next week. So hey, if you want to jump in, that it's all up there. Just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, and also we talked about how grueling this format can be. It'll be 4 BO1s today, 4 BO1s tomorrow, then 2 BO3s on Sunday. And if you need to get through all of those games, there's one thing that would definitely help you. Our good friends at Mike and Ike, they really help you level up your game. They're delicious fruity flavors. You just pop a couple Mike and Ike, all of a sudden you're shooting like you never shot before and going absolutely crazy. And if the regular Mike and Ike isn't cutting it, you can get the Mega Mix. It has even more flavors. It's even better. So all you players that are sitting there waiting for the bracket to roll, if you got some time, I'd go run to the gas station and get an extra pack.
Keep yourself filled, keep yourself sweet, keep yourself in the game, energetic, because it's gonna be, like C-Dubs was saying, it's gonna be a grueling day. It's gonna be game after game after game, and you gotta keep yourself in the game mentally, and just maybe a little flavor can help you with that.
Yeah, and right now we're actually gonna go chug some Mike and Ike before we power up for the rest of this whole broadcast day, because the bracket's about to be rolled. We're gonna sift through, make sure we find the best game. Should be about a 3 to 5 minute break, so make sure to stay tuned.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Favor make it a third as he looks up. Make it he finds the draw 3. Stunning here from
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The grand finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Oh, I love the smell of a cup of joe in the morning. With roach. Oh, hello.
A letter has arrived, sir.
A letter. For me. You have been cordially invited to compete in the 2022 Winter Championships.
Wow.
Featuring multiple game titles, competitive leaderboards, over 25,000 in prize money, and glory. By golly, time to get some headshots. What a perfect time to tell a story. Gather round, everyone, and hear the tale of the NerdStreet Winter Championships. There once was a tournament during the season of snow, filled with contenders of might with names Deez, Ligma, and Joe. Players rose from their beds from the east to the west to compete and prove which players were best. Through weeklies and monthlies, the hype did climb, as soon came the grand finals. Locations in due time. Aspiration and community was preached to the masses. Amateurs became legends, Mavics supporting their...
I was gonna say glasses.
The road was a trying one, wrists aching with cramps. In the end, victors rose. We call them Winter Champs. Before they departed, they left us these words. Our journey's just begun. All thanks to the nerds. Oh, how I love that story. I think we will compete. What do you say, Chiefs?
I can compete, sir.
I suppose better bring the KD up. And you should too. After all, if you're a competitor, this is the circuit for you.
seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Big enough. He finds the drop. Three. Stunning here from.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the bracket ready, and we're going to be hopping straight into a game. My name's still C-Daps. To my side is still Benny. We're going to be getting going shortly.
Hey, it was hard. It's kind of hard to find a game pick there. We were looking through those games. We were like, which one we do? We got Bubble Blowers versus Nocturnes. May not seem that great. We're hoping it's decent at least, though.
Yeah, I'm more so just intrigued about the new Nocturnes roster because, you know,
Yes.
Pox, he came in. They didn't do bad. They were really close to making it out of groups in the last season of SCS. And then Pox goes and starts to want to focus on maybe a little bit of pug stacking, more so focusing on being a TikTok star. Then comes Poison, who really made a lot of strides with the old Two-Face roster that was dropped because of creative differences. Maybe he'll be bringing that nice old Papa P, Mr. Poison system, you know, the 9 to 9. It's not a 9 to 5, it's a 9 to 9 grind session to these Nocturnes boys.
I am interested because, yeah, I was like, say, it was interesting because, the Two-Face roster before Poison joined had a very different air to it, a very different aura to it. And it was interesting to see Mr. Poison join the roster, and they went through some changes. They started to be a more organized and more, a kind of, not say strat heavy, but more of that organized team that really played disciplined. And then they kind of, maybe they didn't want to play like that. Maybe that's why that, say creative defenses, they didn't want to play too much like that. But Nocturnes have always been that kind of team, though. So maybe Poison joined this team will really, bring out that same kind of qualities, and they'll really mesh together well. Okay, we'll see what happens.
I mean, he's still got talent around him. Slothie, Exod, Sykes, not Slikes, Sykes, as well as Lackey. Got some French Canadians. You got one of the best rookies coming into the Challenger League stage last round. So you definitely got shooters to really orchestrate on the side of Nocturnes. On the side of Bubble Blowers, you got some old heads. You got Hitman Squad with JB, Search, Trippy, and Panic R6 from the old Outlast roster before he departed.
Yeah, some old names. That's kind of the reason why I picked this, because we saw some old names to see if these old heads can still play well. They've been out of the game a little bit. Not Panic. Panic's been
Panic was just playing in the last CL stage.
Yeah,
so
we've seen Panic play recently, but the rest of these names we haven't seen them in quite a while. So we're just see if they still can, if they can hang with the rest of us still, despite being out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest question to ask. I mean, I was kind of wondering where Panic was going to land, considering he was still a solid player on Outlast and was a big key towards their success. But then he departs, joins Hitman. And Hitman's been around the block. He's a terrifying name if you see him in casual, ranked, unranked, or even in comp. It's not fun to go against the old Hitman.
How about to say, I remember Hitman back from way back in the ESL days too. He's been playing for a while. I've seen him on a lot of different rosters, so it was to see how this goes so far. But it depends on where we're going to, maybe map wise. Where are we headed to for today? Actually, I don't know where we're headed to really, because I hope it's something nice, but knowing that it's qualified, it's probably something boring as per usual.
Like Oregon. Yep. I could have put $20 down that we were going to Oregon. And yeah, it's just gonna be one of those days, Benny, that you're gonna have to deal with and suffer. Usually I get cursed with a whole lot of Oregon, but for some reason CJ, Mr. Cookies R6, he loves Oregon. There's something he's a masochist or something like that.
I think it's something wrong with him. We need intervention or something.
There's something, some sort of screw loose up there. A wire got frayed or something like that. And he enjoys Oregon.
He needs to go to therapy or something, man. So they just can't like Oregon. I was happy because I haven't casted Oregon in a while, and I was really happy not doing that. Sure, it does get annoying casting Cafe, Villa, and Clubhouse over and over again, but it's better than casting freaking over again.
Yeah, I mean, at this point for CJ, we need to just grab some bandit batteries and give him some electric shock therapy, something like that, and try to help him. But ultimately, when you're going into quals, you don't necessarily want to show everything, but it's also finding a map that everybody's comfortable with. When you have new players like on the side of Nocturnes, or an entirely new team on the side of Bubble Blowers, you go to that big old equalizer, your Clubhouse and Oregons, that are a lot more linear. Everybody knows what the heck to do, and should hopefully make not a horrible game for us to watch.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's unfortunate, but it's the nature of qualifiers, like C-Up's talking about. new faces, new rosters, pug stacks. They don't want to go to Bank or Chalet or something crazy like Coastline. That's just gonna be a nightmare. You gotta go stick to the basics. Gotta play something slow. You know, it's gonna be different to those best of threes, and like talking about, if you don't want to show too much before those best of threes if you get there.
If you're really taking it seriously, and more than anything, Oregon's just a good old gut check. It's like you said, going down to fundamentals and who's the better team. That's just really what it is. Do you know how to drone? You know how to utilize cutoffs on your attacks? Do you know how to, clear certain bits of utility that you've seen 50 million times, but sometimes teams still don't know that 2 flashbangs are required to take out 2 ADSs before you try to break the shield? I don't know. I'm begging and hoping that the teams will know that. And more than anything, you really do get exposed if your fundamentals are down. You just won't be able to get anything going.
Yeah, I'm about to say Oregon's one of those maps where if you can't do those little things, people are gonna start getting aggressive, and that's the kind of aggression that throws you off because you're just not ready for it. If you hit the dot that I, forget to cross that T, someone's behind you on the stairs all of a sudden and shooting you in the butt, and you're like, whoa, where did you come from? And then the question is, where's your flank from?
Exactly. I mean, and also because everybody's comfortable with the map, I'm sure that every single roamer that has played comp has that arsenal of tools of, hey, if I do this stupid thing, I'll probably get a free pick. And you just got to be able to roll with the punches.
If I sit in showers for the entire round.
Or if you lay prone in T2 during a basement take and like Butters in CL. And that even worked in a Challenger League level.
There's so many. There's so many games we've watched of just Oregon where just somebody does something crazy where they're just in a corner for the entire game, and it's next thing you know, hey, they're in a great position to flank. I think
you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure he went to the bathroom mid-round and came back, and all of a sudden 3 people were next to him, and his teammates like, oh yeah, they're pushing this. He's like, oh, I've got the play.
I think it was I think you said Butters. What is it, sitting inside of sitting T2? I remember when Call Out was sitting in upstairs and kids the entire round.
Yeah, I mean, we even see like the old two-face guys as well as like Mystic and Gunner and all them. They have the one spawn peak on main or on master door that works way too often, and all of a sudden, boom, your hard breach is dead, and you're like, oh, this is not going to be a fun round.
Yeah, no heart breach on Oregon. That's a no. But I always have Kool-Aid's I think Kool-Aid was the first one that did it, but he's on that little peek and split when you watch towards that double door and you watch out toward the white van. That's also interesting. I don't see it too often, but lying down and getting that shot, that's always a crazy one
because
too.
It is incredibly ballsy. If you miss any shots while you're prone, you are dead.
Yep, it is.
Just like if you're at the top of white stairs,
Ooh, hey.
Yeah, but right now we're still waiting for everybody to get in the lobby, so we're just kind of stalling just a little bit. If you could.
Oh, I should get the parsec.
Maybe. But as soon as these players get in, we'll be able to just go straight on into the game. Do you have any predictions, Benny? What do you think this score is going to look like?
I guess everyone's going to probably predict NOKTURNS here because they are considered to be the more fleshed out team. But hey, it depends. What Oregon's everyone knows it's a map where good teams go to die, unfortunately. So I haven't seen bubble blowers. They're on defense first, though. They could start off strong, maybe get like a crazy 4-2, not crazy, 4-2's not crazy, 5-1-1 maybe, something like that. Start us off doing some things you wouldn't expect in Oregon. Don't play the same as always, but again, that's the kind of issue though. If you to really throw them off, you have to play unorthodox, but that's kind of an issue on Oregon, isn't though?
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully, for the sake of NOKTURNS, with a new IGL coming in, sometimes you can see either the attacks go through that honeymoon phase and are just like boom, 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 amazing, or they're going to be really bad. And then if they get knocked out and they do bad, then they're going to have to wait till next week, Benny.
That's a good question, actually. That's a question that is interesting, is that who's actually now the IGL for NOKTURNS? But yeah.
Should be Poison. Poison is
14
just
to 16?
a hard IGL. That's what he brings to a team.
Yeah, because who was the IGL before? Is it Pox before? Who was it before this?
Yeah, so it went from Exod, and then Marmalade was IGLing for the latter half of the season. And then Marmalade left, and comes Pox. Pox tried to IGL, didn't enjoy it. And boom. And comes Poison.
That's all right. So let me just see how this new IGL, how his new NOKTURNS is with Poison at the helm. He's going to be steering that ship, trying to steer them into the right way. And well, what does Bubble Blowers have in store for us is the question. Because yeah, again, they're going to be the question mark. They're going to be the ones with the mystery. Because I'm assuming at this point, you can probably read up on how NOKTURNS plays of all the games they played over the last year or so. For God's sakes.
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest thing is if you have an IGL on your team, then you should probably sign up for Quals 2. Because IGLs, they're a rare commodity. Make sure to type !play down in chat. Get all that wonderful information because the spots are going to fill up. Sure, it costs a little bit of money, but like, hey, it's like $10 a person, and you get a whole month if you manage to make it, as well as a whole lot of marketability for you as a player. We love that
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, I want to see that. You want to see those clips of you doing crazy things. Or, well, crazy could be a good or bad thing, but hey, it's the marketability, right?
All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, so hey, crazy plays are crazy plays. But yeah, hey, yeah, if you don't make it this one, or if you haven't signed up for this one, you got a chance next week, 14th to the 16th. Only $10 per person, $50. Or if you've already bought for this week, get next week too. So we'll see though.
Just make sure to sign up again. You gotta register again with your pass.
Oh.
You don't automatically get registered, and so don't be that guy. Don't be that dude that paid for the
I know.
$80 and then accidentally forget to sign up and be like, uh-oh, we just wasted money. Make sure to get your money's worth.
Yeah, I don't know that. I know you have to sign up twice, even if you paid $80. So yeah, you want to make sure
You gotta
do
make
that,
sure to like
guys.
register in the Battlefy again. With your roster, because you can make roster moves in between. Like, you know, maybe some dude was just costing the whole time, just boot him out of the team, get a new person.
There's no roster locks here. It's just qualifiers. You guys got 2 chances. You can change your roster as you like, though it is kind of crazy to change it that many times, maybe within 2 qualifiers. But hey, 2 chances, two chances to do what you want, change up the roster, change things up. But hey, if you can try all you want.
We can try to predict these bans on Oregon, which should be very, very linear, Benny.
No. They're gonna ban.
We're gonna see a Lion and Ying ban on attack. You know, that's that
Actually,
crazy
makes
stuff.
sense, though. That's actually makes sense to ban that though.
Now we're gonna see like Thatcher and
I know.
like
They're gonna
Hib or something. I don't know, something boring. Maybe like Thatcher Flores.
Thatcher Flores would make a lot of sense.
That would make a
for
lot more
Oregon.
sense. But
Yeah.
yep, bubble blowers, they're not going for anything crazy. They want to win. Sure, they might be having a little bit of fun, but you know, it'd always be nice to punch a ticket into SCS. That's why everybody here is competing. It's a very highly coveted position to be in. And Nocturnes, like we said, they're probably going to ban a Flores. Wouldn't surprise me, but instead they're going
That's
for a
crazy, though.
Maverick. So still not absolutely crazy, but slightly off, like a little bit of flavor.
It depends on who they ban next. If they're gonna change the bans, the expected bans next are Valkyrie Mira. This is the always expected one. But then that's the thing. If you ban Maverick,
when you have Maverick Thatcher, you gotta ban Cade.
yeah, like that, it makes the most sense to ban Kai at that point with the 2, the 2 counters off the board.
Yeah, because how are you gonna open up a hatch? How are you gonna open up a wall? That's not fun. Not fun at all. And Mira also kind of allows a lot of those power positions to not be quite as powerful, so you can actually go for a front side effectively without having to just frag out and almost get lucky to a certain extent. Just trying to push front against a Mira is incredibly difficult unless you have some sort of playmaking on the backside. So kind of removing that variable always makes things a little bit easier, especially on the attacking side.
Well, let's be interesting with Valkyrie available, but we'll see if they actually play Valkyrie at all, because sometimes teams don't exactly practice what's always banned, as we see with Mira and we see with Thatcher quite often. So, well, so far, going on to that bottom floor defense, and yep, there's the Valkyrie from Trippy. So we're going to see it firsthand rather than the castle, though. With the castle, it seemed maybe it was going to be like that kind of Rome style, maybe on the basement floor, but with Valkyrie down store, maybe they won't be going for that Rome.
Yeah, the Rome, it could still happen, facilitated in with some intel. Maybe even like a solo or duo Rome, not as opposed to a fully util base that we could have seen with Castle.
Yeah.
But considering there's a whole bunch of shields that Goyo's bringing, as well as the smoke, then you have Jaeger Wamai. This defense is going to be more orchestrated towards the util base. We're going to bunker up. We're going to make sure that if we want to hold pillar, we want to hold elbow, we want to hold freezer, whatever positions that they want to hold and make the attackers really work to get, they are going to have to really work to get. They have to make sure that they have enough flashbangs, they have enough nades, which on the side of Nocturnes, if you look, they have 6 most likely, which is a lot. And
Yeah,
on
that's
Oregon,
weird.
that also does make sense because nades are so good.
I said they couldn't every map.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of required in every map at this point. Like that's why like operators like Finka come and play, because of the Gon 6 and the grenades are so important and so needed. Like if you gave grenades back to freaking Dokubi, for God's sake, she played a lot more, wouldn't she?
Yeah, nades are free kills, but as Nocturnes are coming in, it's that full west side clear. They're already moving with a little bit of intensity, and I don't know if that's because their cutoff game is good, which hopefully with Poison's drone already coming in and Exod's going in towards kitchen, they have a nice general idea that a lot of this area is free real estate up until they reach Z and up until they reach Greenhall.
Oh
That's where Hitman and a couple other people are, but him and Sykes, they're going to trade, making it all even.
What?
And the Valk swings out and tries to Nitro above, but Trippy's just going to fall back, somehow escaping with his life after dry peeking 2 people holding his angle. But I think they were just as surprised as we were.
Yeah, he should have been. I guess Trippy thought Lackey was still above as a sledge because the sledge did open up the floor
Yep.
above. That's why they threw the C4. But I don't know. It's kind of weird to throw C4 based on like not having the intel. Is it Search or how do I say his name? I'm not sure how to say this one. But either way, he's holding the position as a Goyo, looking for the kill and the intel, but throws off the intel and not able to get that kill. Not able to place the refrag either because it is that freezer stairs and they haven't gotten the hatch open either inside of freezer. So that's going to be a nice kill for Search or however you say his name. Now gonna get these hatches open finally, but still looking pretty good for Bubble Blowers in the defense because the big thing was wasting time, getting picks, going into the execute. And well, you lost one pair of grenades. You still have one more left. But is that enough to push their way? Well, one pair.
Well, each person had a pair.
Well, I'm saying they have one pair left.
Yeah, they have one remaining, which is Slothy, and hopefully he's able to do something. He's able to do something, as well as maybe Exod Smokes could be a win condition. But considering there's a lot of WMIs and a lot of ADSs, those are most likely going to be allocated towards the burn aspect as the back tower take is coming through. JB holding on to pillars, swinging over towards the back side of those stairs. And Slothy's just going to walk straight down into the loving arms of Evil Clown. Down goes the Yana. Down falls Poison on the Habana. And the rest of the team follows suit. Down goes Exod. A pretty solid defense, more so than anything. The attack really couldn't get a whole lot going. That late kill onto over towards Freezer really kind of did him in. Lackey falling.
Like not having that freezer hatch opening, going for the pick. They had the intel, sure, but it's still a 50-50. You're still going for a fight, and he's also watching the same direction. You both know you're going that direction. It's interesting they didn't open the hatch for that cutoff if they're going to go for that kind of move.
Exactly. And attacking basement without man advantage, it's not fun. It's really not fun, and that's exactly what Nocturnes ran into. Sure, we can pick apart Nocturnes attack all we want, but at the end of the day, you can just say, hey guys, that was an Oregon basement attack, so you're not really too worried.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. So I think it's big thing is the fact that Rome could have been different. Maybe if they'd been able to kill Trippy there when he threw that C4,
that would have been a big one.
Yeah, and then of course, like you're talking about, the fact that they only had 2 grenades and they were late on time, and they had shields to go through. They didn't have much control either of freezer, and when going into that back tower and that construction take going into bunker elbow, you could tell they were rushing at that point too, not having the pieces in the places in the correct positions for the execute. But yeah, here we go on top floor. We're going back. We're going to the dorms this time for the defense for Bubble Blowers. And once again, there's the same kind of lineup here, same kind of style of just trying to have that waste time in the beginning, go into the execute so that making sure Nocturnes are the ones trying to force the execute, force that push the envelope despite not having maybe the pieces or the players to do so with.
And now we potentially could be seeing site intel from Trippy's Vout cams, because there's 3 nitros. If any of them are allocated to down below, a potential plant stop could happen, especially with the attic hatch opened up. That's a free rotate over towards kitchen, as maybe even Z Hall, if that's on the docket for a roamer late round. But for the side of Nocturnes, they're going for a good old split take. A lot of pressure over towards bathroom and dining, where Sykes is trying to find out Hitman, who's in the exact same position he was last time. It was a full stalemate, both of the players landing a headshot last time this engagement came through. This time, no bullets land onto either body. It'll be a tuck tail and run maneuver from Hitman as he's fallen back, nades coming through the floor, trying to remove a player in that back corner of kids. Typically, that's where a smoke will rely, but instead it's Trippy just up above. Now he's going to be watching the door from that hole that was just made. Maybe could pick off Sykes.
Yeah, he's waiting for a chance, waiting from that hole that was created by the grenade. Maybe pick him off as they walk in the kitchen. Exods made their way over towards Trophy, over towards that master bedroom side. And like, see, I was talking about, it's a split take. So it's got to be some progression on the other side of the map when it comes to take. You can't just have that, one side trying to make progress, and the other side just kind of waiting around. The next, just open up that wall, at least get that wall open to start us off, because otherwise, you can't really get into the room walking through those doorways. That's not what you want. Hitman's made a good sense. He's walked away from that, all the way from, I'm assuming, attic, all the way towards that white stairway down the stairs. He's looking for a pick, maybe trying to cut off somebody like Sloth who's playing Freezer Stairs. They're going to get the wall open into games. That's going to be the first step into the execute.
Yeah, the biggest thing would be if Sykes doesn't drone out towards white. That's going to be a position that's assumed clear because, Slothy is right next to Hitman. Hitman might have the
Oh,
play.
he
The
just-
drone comes out and it's the pre-fire from Sykes. LMG coming out on top, and Hitman, like I said, he almost had the play, but Sykes was just a little bit too aware. The adrenal surge is coming out as more players are flying through. Slothy gets a kill through the floor onto Evil Clown, removing the smoke, making sure that those toxic babes are not going to be aided by the adrenal surges coming in. Sykes, he's going to land a shot onto Search, but Trippy, he'll answer back onto Slothy. It's just up to the Valkyrie and the Mute, with the SMG-11 taking shots over towards Poison. And he's going to get over towards Default. Exod cuts off Trippy and Lackey. He'll pick up the final Scraggler on the side of Bubble Blowers and have a pretty clinical attack for the side of Nocturnes.
It was definitely that kind of clinical. Definitely, just you knew what they were doing. They're going for step by step. The only turn there was the intel, like you're talking about, though. There could have been a junction, could have been a change in that round when it came to that pick, though. Hitman was that first part, though. Fact that he could have, I'm not sure if he could have waited a second before pushing that, but if he had maybe, I'm not sure if maybe if Sykes was trying to bait out knowing he was there, or if he threw the drone not knowing he was there. But if he had maybe waited a second, let Sykes get on the drone before pushing that engagement, maybe a different story. Search as well. Search tries to go for a pick, though he was getting pinched because they were pushing from trophy side in. He was getting shot from two different directions, so he has to make a decision. Do I push for trophy side or do I take the fight on white? You saw him take the fight on white. He loses it. Slothy also getting a kill to the floor. Those are like the three picks that really just end up leaving those two members on the side of Bubble Blowers in a not so much unwinnable but very improbable win.
Yeah. And for the side of Bubble Blowers, I don't know how deep their strat pool is because, being a newer team, they're probably only going to have about one per site. And with Nocturnes showing such a prolific attack last time around, they might be able to replicate. And then all of a sudden, Bubble Blowers, they're not in a good position. It's either go back down to the basement and hope that Nocturnes don't adjust properly, or they'll have to try their hand at the tertiary bomb site. But hopefully for their sake that they can just bounce back and understand where exactly Nocturnes are pushing from. A lot of pressure from Small Tower as well as from Trophy. They were leaving Big Tower alone. No attic, no nothing. Get the breach open. They didn't even have to, for Nocturnes, they didn't even have to rotate a player to Big Window quite yet. Instead, they were just going up white and they just bodied out the Bubble Blowers. And as soon as they got those picks, they just hit an adrenal surge and flooded site quite well.
Yeah, those picks are important there. Getting Search and getting those two picks on Hitman and Search were the big part of starting that round out. So it's gonna be see what they do different here on the other side of Bubble Blowers, what they try if they know they're going for that same player Nocturnes. Again, like I'm saying, is that how big is that strat pool when it comes to Bubble Blowers? How much are they really gonna show us here if they have that in store? Hitman playing the same position though, so it doesn't seem like there's too much when it comes to that kind of strategy so far. Then we do see one member of Trippy way off by Big Tower, which you said was ignored last time, so maybe they're going to try and use that against them, being that it was ignored. But I don't know how much you can really use against them when they're only going for that white games take.
Yeah, Hitman, he's already under a little bit of pressure, but he's being a lot more aggressive than we saw him last time. He was running the full marathon. He went up green, all the way through attic, then down white. This time he's holding strong inside of kitchen, trying to waste as much time as possible. The Slothy with the cutoff almost lands the decisive shot. Instead, Hitman, he's boxed in. He has no rotate holes out, and as soon as this wall starts getting blasted from meeting, he could be in a real pickle.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's there to help him out. He's stuck in a hard place at this point. I'm not sure if they know his exact position. Trippy's in a position to maybe help him coming through Green Hall to give him a hand. I'm not sure. They probably don't know the position of Slothy though inside of meeting. He's going to peek out. Not seeing, but get pre-fired actually by Sykes all the way over in dining as he just gets on his
fat finger.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be a fat finger. That is unfortunate. The timing of that. It's now with that first pick. And once again, now Hitman stuck in a corner. I'm not sure if they can even leave at that point either.
Yeah, he is just completely pinned as more nades are coming through the floor, trying to remove anybody over towards the hatch. But luckily for Bubble Blower's sake, there's nobody there. Slothy could hit the up white into sight, that fun maneuver, as the shots are coming in as suppressing fire. There's no Banshee, no barbed wire, no nothing to have the defenders know that this position could come through. Hitman, he actually had a rotate hold, but he didn't utilize that till now. It seems like the shots are going to land. Yep, Hitman ratting out, playing patient, and could really swing some momentum into his team's favor late in this round. There's only 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's a 4v4. Somebody needs to get active on the side of Nocturnes sooner rather than later. Nitro Cell almost claims the life of Exod over towards Trophy Door, and Search, he still has this wonderful shield that's watching the breach. Last time, that was Poison's entry point. But Exod, he's going to swing in. He's going to lose that fight to the Goyo. Hitman's going to pick up another kill onto Sykes. That's down below. As JB gets active, down goes the rest of the team as they swing, stopping that plant. The defense held strong, and Hitman, while being in the crap for so long in that round, ended up coming on top, came out with 2 kills.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe that was the issue. Like I talked about before in that previous round, was that you need to have both, both sides of the split take working. And it seemed like they were making progress on that, trophy master going into game side. But with a, that split take going up, White Stairs going up games, sure, they were able to get the round before that, but that was because of the kills. Now you're in a position where you haven't taken that white control. Hitman's still playing. You sure you got the kill onto Trippy, but Hitman's still in a position downstairs where you don't know where he is, and you get caught off guard. You lose Slothy, and then from there, that white control isn't there for the team, and they're going for that push through games. They're trying to make something of this, but it's a bit of a one-side push for Trophy in games. They go for that push in, like you saw Exo there trying to make a play that could have been a moment to change the round, but there's still a shield on the side of Oblos. They still had Vulcan shields to use to still hold off an Attic, and that's what exactly helped them kill Exod. And from that point, the members of games are the ones by himself. Sykes wasn't able to make either of the white play, so it's kind of the issue with going for that split play when it comes to strategy.
It's either you go all eggs in one basket and have a really strong push on one side, or sometimes when you split, you have 2 weaker pushes that aren't strong enough to overcome one of the sides. And for Nocturne's attack, they weren't able to overcome either of them. The biggest thing was the Search still had a nitro cell. So even if a frag had gone over towards the site, you could have just popped up over his shield and denied default plant, which is exactly where Poison was going towards, over towards the foosball table. Almost said foodball. Nope, it is foosball. But we've already seen this attack and this defense come out in round 1, where for the side of Nocturnes, their early round was good, but then it kind of fell apart in the mid as they were transitioning towards their freezer push.
Yeah, it was a great start. You had that first pick for them. They were looking strong there, but then it was trading kills when it came to this. They were already in an even 4-4, but then you push freezer without really having the control over the hatch. So even if if someone loses their life, how do you refrag? You can't refrag in a 1-for-1 stairway like that unless multiple people go to a swing. But hey, Hitman's in a position to take a fight once more, and he'll lose it this time, though. The Exod. So losing your first member Hitman, and that's one thing I see from Oblo is a lot of just solo roaming at times, and sometimes they go for their life despite being in that solo roam.
Yeah, I mean, having that playmaking ability on your defensive side is always warmly welcomed, because a 1-for-1 on the defense is a lot better than having a 1-for-1 on attack, and that's kind of what we've seen last time where Sykes and Hitman traded. This time, Exod, he's able to sure take a little bit of damage, but down goes Hitman. Slothy and the rest of the team, they're pushing over on white side, probably going to transition to freezer. It's going to be up to mainly Poison to get all these hatches open. That's what Habana does. And JB does get droned out. That's some good due diligence on the side of Nocturnes, not getting caught off guard by anything. Mainly Search creeping up. Sykes will take him down. JB, he's fallen all the way back down towards Tarps. He understands that that's his position as the Wamai. Wamai gets better with age as the round continues. So, staying alive near the site is always ideal.
And last time too, this is where they rushed up and they're trying to take control of, elbow, take control of that back tower stairs, and having those ADSs, or not ADSs, the disc in your hands, trying to stop those grenades, destroying that shield is going to be huge. But hence, JB's pushed up into elbow. The rest of the members are waiting this push as they looks like they're understanding where the push comes from. JB's in a position where to take this fight as one's in freezer, one's over inside of inside of site itself. So at this point, he's ahead. It's JB though, and loses the fight to Sykes though. So down he goes, and that control big tower stairs goes in the hands of Nocturnes. Now with only Trippy and Evil Clown at 2v5, this is probably not going to look good for them as the the ink comes out, the Candelas come out, but it's Trippy. Great shot through that single wall to Sykes though, stopped one player, but the Exod's already dropped down. Trippy gets 2 kills actually though. Exod gets taken down by that Vulcan shield though, leaving Trippy in a 1v3. He's already gotten 2. He's getting an ace to end this round. There's still 30 seconds too for the play with, so Nocturnes have time. He's already got Deagle in hand. He's got 3 kills for the round. He's looking for a 4th. He can't get the 4th though. Exod will finish him off, and Nocturnes will take another attacking round.
I was a believer for a second, but he got caught sprinting, which is just really unfortunate. But a really strong attack that almost didn't even need to go to the final step. We would have seen most likely a whole bunch of Candelas run into sight as they went in. But hey, That round was won with Sykes pushing down the back stairs, getting a couple of kills and a whole lot of pressure all other ways. That opened up the hatch drop. That opened up the late pressure from Freezer and all those fun areas. As the smoke of Evil Clown, he had to make something. He had to make a play. Swung out gold. Didn't manage to get anything, but managed to make enough space for Trippy to get some frags that ultimately did lay impactless.
Unfortunately, it could have been, you had to go with Ace, unfortunately, because nobody else on his team could get a kill, which is just not great to see. But hey, it's hard when the attacking team gets on that snowball effect. When they've already gotten 2 or 3 kills, they're down to 2 members on the defense trying to bring it back, and the attackers at this point just barreling down on you. So good work on Trippy to try and make it back, but we're down to once again from bubble blowers, and now we might be, do you consider at this point maybe grasping at straws?
I don't think quite yet. Where, I mean, on Oregon, a lot of the times with pug stacks, the rounds are won or lost on the roam, and where we've seen bubble blowers have success is when their roam gets a kill, and when they aren't successful is when their roam doesn't. Their site pressure is a little bit weak, even though they have so much supplemented utility into these positions. More so than anything, a lot of util allocated over towards elbow, which, you know, hasn't been pushed yet. So maybe reallocating those ADSs over towards pillar and like putting a shield up more towards green hall, over towards like the pillar door, could supplement in those positions and make it a lot stronger, a lot more bolstered up. But doesn't seem like that's on the docket for bubble blowers, whether that's a lack of adaptations from them or they just want to stand true to their strats. Makes sense either way, but the strat this time seems to be Hitman once again ratting out. He's playing T2 stairs, probably going to try to find some drones, then fall off, or maybe even try to find a kill with a little bit of aggression.
Oh, well, looks like actually no, he's backing off this time because, again, well, like you said, the roam is what, you know, make or breaks them. So maybe at this point, maybe they're going to try and ditch the roam, though, at least seeing as they lost so many members early on that roam. So we'll see, though, as Hitman's maybe waiting for a mistake maybe from Nocturnes. Some from Nocturnes just walking without droning him out, looking for someone to get aggressive without them knowing that he's on those stairs. But he's been droned out. He's going to back off for the moment. And I believe at this point, it does seem like maybe bubble blowers this time around are playing all on site, waiting for that push and just using utility. And like you said, nobody really goes for that elbow push. So maybe if Evil Clown or somebody could move that shield maybe towards, you know, facing Freezer if they're going for that Freezer push. Because we see Lackey, he'll walk in first to Freezer. Nobody's with him for the moment. He's going to pre-fire, thinking somebody's on the lockers.
Maybe. But Poison, he's going to get all the hatches opened up, which is good. That's his role. That's what Hapana does. Said it before, say it again. Next out, he's starting to gain some intel over towards Pillar. There's nobody directly on the pillar. It's mainly over towards Tarp that JB is. But as soon as they drone that out, that's where Hitman rolls in. He could be in a precarious situation that goes unchecked. But as Lackey rotates over towards Tarps, we might actually see the elbow shield get used. But guess what? Nobody's home.
Yeah, nobody's really playing that elbow side. Evil Clown could still go to that position. Like you said, Hitman's playing this pillar position for the moment, pre-firing towards Sykes. Grenade's going to be cooked over to try and deal with Hitman, but it looks like Hitman's got a great position. He's already backed off knowing that this push coming through. JB's going to die, obviously, because those Candles right now, so he's blind as heck. Ag's going to throw another one. I don't know if he knows Hitman's right around the corner, playing the position, waiting for maybe a mistake, as actually Slothy's in sight, though. He's walked down. He's made a play that nobody expects, walking to the laundry side, but he's taking heavy damage. Search is there, ready to take him out from Freezer's side. Hitman still playing this corner, waiting for a mistake from Nocturnes coming into Executors. Poison's going to walk through. Can he start getting that plant down? Force some of these defenders back out. Actually, he's going to walk and go for the kill instead. Down goes Evil Clown position. Hitman throws out, knowing that his member in sight's dead. Exhaust takes down Hitman in the return. Now Poison breaking the plant, leaving Search in 1v3, and now he's dead.
Yep, nothing that they could do. Poison, great play in order to push into sight. If he went for the default plant, probably a Nitro Cell would have came over and ended that dream. But pushing in, catching that last player towards the rotate hole off guard, then able to get the kind of quote-unquote trade that never really was a trade. If he wasn't pushed up and going for that deeper plant, Hitman would have gotten a free kill over towards Pillar. But instead, Mr. Papa P, Mr. Poison is able to get that frag, make sure that there's as much man advantage as possible. So even if they did a little bit of trolling towards the last half, they were still going to come out on top.
Good work on them, man. Good work on Nocturnes. You know, in that round two, is that round where bubble blowers didn't go for the roam. They're trying to keep it all on site, and Nocturnes still performed great, which, again, that's kind of issue between the two teams. And when it comes to that preparation, I guess you can tell from Nocturnes knowing when it comes to those executes, when you don't have to deal with an unexpected roam compared to dealing with that expected like site play. You always see that kind of defense from Oregon, really.
Yeah. Oregon. We love it. Love it so much.
I don't. Cookies are crazy. Cookies intervention. You can't love this. Why do you love this?
I don't know. Maybe he
He's-
just feels comfortable.
I could be it too. He's an ex-pro, so maybe he loves it because it's his home. It's home stadium.
Yeah, but we'll go back up to the top floor. That has been a little bit interesting for the side of bubble blowers. You know, successful once, unsuccessful the other time. Where kind of as soon as Nocturnes figured out what was happening, the first time they were able to do it, but then the slight adjustments, kind of forgetting that Hitman was inside a kitchen. That's a big one. Search almost landing the shot over towards the white van. I believe that would have been Poison. Yeah, that would have been Poison, which would have been a horrible person to lose first. Kind of forcing a flood through doorways, which is not ideal considering the amount of nitro cells and other throwable utility like the smoke canisters that Evil Clown is bringing. Would not have been fun. Would not have been fun at all.
Well, there goes the Mute Jammer. Exod from below will destroy it with the secondary shotgun of Jackal. Search still playing that position, though. He's looking for maybe, again, waiting for a chance to spring on Nocturnes, given the chance. But I don't think anybody's going to... Actually, no, he hears somebody's going to jump out for it. No, he's not jumping out for it just yet. He hears the rappel of the Jackal of Exod, but he's going to back off. No, he's been droned. He's going to say, I'm running away. I'm not going to go for that fight. He's not going to make sure he gets cut off by anybody. So at this point, not until Nocturnes open that wall up. Like we saw, though, the adjustments and the players downstairs were the issue, like Hitman last time. Sure, they killed Trippy last time, but Hitman was a position where they just kind of wasted time. They wasted so long trying to deal with Hitman, and they just weren't able to really do it in enough time. And at that point, you have to go for the push on the games. They had to go for a one-side push through games where it did not work out. Both blowers were expecting and have the utility to stop them. So once again, we'll see if they can at least do it quicker this time.
Yeah, speeding things up is always good. Because when you have players like Hitman that can make a play and are in unpredictable situations, the more time you have to adjust and kind of bounce back, the better. We talk about the red zone where there's not very much time left on the clock. If a single thing goes wrong towards your 20-second execute, boom, you're done. You're dead in the water. You're up the creek without a paddle. If you're executing at like 45 seconds, you can all of a sudden take a step back, pause for just a couple of seconds, and then maybe make those little bit of adjustments. But as things stand, not really much has happened this round. There's a breach opened, which is good on the side of Nocturnes, and they're doing the floor nades, trying to get these shields out, or maybe even a player, but nothing has gone their way so far. Sykes over towards Big Window is in a good cutoff position, and even more cutoff is Lackey cutting off Hitman. Search almost landing a shot onto Sykes, but narrowly missing as he has a nice deep angle over towards the breach. Search is going to fall at the hands of a nade from Big Window. That shot he missed was ultimately not so fun. That was his ultimate demise as the smokes are coming out. The plant is going down. Trippy Savage, he's going to take out Slothy and could run through the smoke and try to deny the plant. But instead, it's going to be Poison getting it down. It's a post plant. There's crossfires everywhere. It's a 1v4. Bearing 9 out for Poison's SMG 11 out for JB. And the L8 in the hands of Lackey will get the last lap. Primaries for secondaries. Typically, the primary is going to come out on top. And just like that, the primary team for Nocturnes comes out on top of this half at a scoreline of 4-2.
That's a big thing that last round was too, is the fact that you had a sort of roam from bubble blowers, but they didn't really do anything. They were kind of around you. So Hitman and Trippy downstairs kind of walking around. They may be expecting Nocturnes to push below and start throwing grenades from kitchen maybe, but they didn't need to. You saw from inside, Big Window, below in Z hallway, they got kills with grenades. They didn't need to go push from kitchen whatsoever. So by time Trippy makes that play, gets that pick, Nocturnes were already executing on the site. They've gotten the picks they needed to push their way through games, to push their way through the big window. They weren't just going for just, white stairs and games. As a personal big window this time, playing for a different angle. And that was the big thing for Nocturnes. They widened their aspects, widened their different approaches here, and were finding weaknesses when it came to it. Especially because there was nobody there. There was like 2 people on site.
Yeah, and that's where you can bully them. Had, the good old-fashioned nades from below landed kills earlier, I think the flood would have happened immediately. It was more so Nocturnes, they got all their pieces into position, and then as soon as they got the kills, they flooded. And just like Nocturnes, if you have all of your pieces in position, you should make sure to come out for the stage 2 qualifiers next weekend. That'll be round 2. Exclamation point play in chat. It's $50, about $10 a person, unless you have subs, which makes it even cheaper. Cost effectiveness. That's great. Come in, have a nice fun qualifier. At very worst, you get 8 BO1s, a lot of experience on the game day settings. So can't really justify not doing it.
So yeah, if you're looking for experience, looking for cop experience, this is the place to be. Place to be in the amateur scene to try your strats out, try your team out, and see what if you can, make improvements based on what happens in the rounds. It's only $50, not that much. 10 per person, not that crazy. Only $10, nothing too crazy to pay for. But hey, we're now on Nocturne's defense here in the half, and Nocturne's had the 4-2 attacking half. That is what you expect them now to, win it out when it comes to Oregon. But hey, can be different. Maybe ball blowers are more of that attacking team. We've seen teams in SCS start like that. Hitman will start us off killing Slothy on that roam. I believe he was by Kitchen already taking down. So with that player down, Exile is going to walk back and take some more shots by Hitman. So with one person down and a person already half dead, Hitman's did a lot for his team.
Yeah, I mean, getting an entry pick, that's good considering conversion rates typically are somewhat decent on Oregon. It's a very entry intensive map that there's not really any shortcuts you can do to getting map control, which is exactly why Hitman was in green and Poison just died. That caught me off guard. Roaming smoke moment, everybody.
I think Lynx told me about that too, and I didn't think it was actually
Poison the
happening.
roaming smoke. Yes. He loves it. But now Exod is also there. And I think Hitman has an idea. And if Exod peeks, he will die.
Yeah, Hitman's already put him on low before this, so he's waiting for a chance to finish him off.
Oh,
What is
he
it?
doesn't know.
Oh, he doesn't quite know. Trippy though, he makes a hole, and that hole you could have saw him. Oh man, Trippy's walking up and he could be caught off guard. Sykes though caught off guard by JB elsewhere. Looks like they're trying to push him in the freezer, and Exod though, he had to jump.
That's a heartbreaker. Just as Trippy's gonna break everybody inside of sight. Peculiar round from the Nocturnes defense. Interesting positions that were punished very, very well. And a solid attack from Bubble Blowers. They were just working picks.
That was working picks, but Nocturne's just like some of that. Poison, roaming a smoke.
Puzzling.
Exod should have had the kill.
But he was sprinting.
He was sprinting. He sprinted down the stairs after him, despite just because he made those first initial shots and then he chased after him, which is always kind of a iffy situation to do. I'm not sure what you do in that situation, really. But still, yeah, effectively Hitman got the first kill. Nobody could refrag off of that kill to get Hitman back. Hitman then progressed even farther through that, through Kitchen, through Green Hall, making sure then kill Poison, who was rotating up the stairs and smoked for whatever reason. So again, it's that make or break roam we talk about here and there. That I don't know. Again, I'm not sure if you really want to roam against a team like a Pugstack though. Do you really want to do that?
Personally, I mean, unless you have a util oriented roam, the biggest thing for me would be going for that, that util that force them to clear certain positions, set up mini games, set up traps that, if they haven't seen it before, like a little bit of creativity more than anything, just make them go for the fundamentals. Do not let it boil down to just gunfights where on your roam, if you have no utility, it's just like, yes, I must outshoot them. It's not fun. That's how you get punished. As opposed to if you set up a full bunker with a crap ton of shields and a bunch of utility everywhere and didn't give them any opening picks, any looks, force them to make the openings themselves through burning those shields, having team synergy, knowing how to properly use the utility. That's typically when things get a lot more difficult for these pug staffs. Hopefully Nocturnes can really solve that, which with their defensive lineup, not a whole lot has changed, but it seems like some of the positions are a lot more reserved. Lackey kind of just going for drones right here. Will probably fall back as soon as he sees one, takes it out, and yep, he'll start falling off, hopefully, unless he wants to just die.
Well, they brought the Mozzie along on Sykes, though. I don't know what Sykes was playing before, but so maybe they're trying to deny drones through those Mozzie mute jammers. But again, the Mozzie pest speed jammer is only so much, and like you said, maybe making mini games could be the key here, but I don't see too much here except for Sykes and Exod. What other mini games are they really setting up besides just sitting in rat corners inside some of these angles? There's no reinforcements. I don't see any Mozzie pests here anywhere really from Sykes, not that I know at least. Maybe there is, but so far it's just kind of waiting for bow blowers at this point to make a mistake as they're looking to drone through. Poison in position to try and help out Sykes, but he looks like he knows one. He's not pre-firing quite where he is, and he'll get the kill though. Great kill from Sykes to on a Trippy, and nobody's in place from bow blowers of refrag. And now we're gonna see some of those, if those fundamentals are there for bow blowers when it comes to trying to clear out these players. So far, Sykes still staying his welcome, sit inside of meeting.
Yeah, he is exposed to a drone hole, but I feel like they have no idea where he is. They misdroned him. They just misdroned him. Sykes is now in a wonderful position. His stock is going through the roof. He gets misdroned twice. And he's in meeting. That's an area that you really want control of as an attacker. Because now Hitman can just be swung. He can be swung, shot in the back. He can be knifed. I don't know. He has no idea. The Sykes is still left alive. He's waiting for somebody, and he's gonna pick off the Habana. Down goes your hard breacher. Down goes the diffuser. Down goes Hitman as well, as Sykes is a man on a mission. And his mission will be to slaughter the entirety of the Bubble Blower's attack. He has 60% of them so far, but you know, that's the Challenger League discipline right there. Do you see what he just did? He fell back to sight like a good boy. Shout out to Dauntless for beating that into him.
Shout out to Dauntless for beating it. That is true, though. It's that discipline. You get a few kills and you don't pray too far, slot these in a great position, because now it's just playing the site, playing those positions together as a team, denying the pushes. Now it's up to Search in a 1v5. It's probably going to be a flawless unless you get a pick, but no, Poison right behind the shield to finish him off. Flawless round for NOKTURNS, and one where we see that definitely testing the fundamentals of Bubble Blowers.
Yeah, everybody falling back to site except for Sykes. He was in a 1-for-1 position, which he ended up winning that 1-for-1 and somehow getting away. That was the biggest thing, where had he gone 1-for-1, still would have been fine. Removed some nades, then he got misdroned and took full advantage of it. Solid stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Trippy didn't know he was there, but again, that's the question. Is did they drone him out inside a meeting? Could they drone him out? Maybe the Mozzie pests were in the way?
No, they went right by him.
Yeah, they went right by him. I meant the first time. When Trippy died the first
okay,
time. When he was because he such an open meeting.
Yeah. I think that was just somebody getting a little bit ahead of us.
Yeah, so that's the question there. But did Trippy just go too far and he opened up a hole that proved to be the doom of his team?
Attackers need to locate
Pandora's box there.
I think that's just getting a little bit too far ahead of yourself. You know, you want to go fast. You want to go fast. You want to go fast. Sometimes you get caught out by Sykes, who's definitely going to punish you.
Yeah, it's fast is good, efficient is good, but if you don't have it down quite as fast, you get caught up, trip and fall on your face, not face, but still tripping on your face isn't good there. But hey, we'll see so far. NOKTURNS now still in lead though. We'll go upstairs this time for their defense. We'll see them starting up that extension towards the trophy side. Looks like of course putting the shield with that alibi clone to make sure they can waste time, waste utility, even have an open hole towards the attic side. So there's definitely a bit more creativity from NOKTURNS compared to Bubble Blowers, because you can tell their puck stack. So their defenses are kind of just that, that standard you'd expect on Oregon compared to NOKTURNS.
Yeah. And as everything's pushing through, you also have Slothy on the Valk once again, trying to supplement any sort of intel. With a nitro cell down below, if he stays in that position, he could deny a default plant if it comes through. But more than anything, the denial of just any map control towards Big Tower is what's on the docket for Sykes, whether it be just shoot a couple of drones and make them worry about, hey, is he in this corner, is he in that corner, as he falls back, or if he just wants to start taking gunfights, or as his silhouette's moving all the way to the basement, doesn't seem like he wants to, take any gunfights. Lackey, he's trying to slow down any master pressure that's coming through. JB droning in Search, the good old-fashioned entry, as Lackey's just swinging like a madman, AUG in hand. Hasn't landed any bullets and is now forfeiting that control.
Yeah, the Flores Jones, Rotero Jones are pretty powerful. You can tell why he's banned quite often, because you bring that Wilmai Jaeger setup, and next thing you know, it's been nullified entirely, because you don't need a Jaeger. Another Jaeger Wilmai can't stop a Flores Jones, Rotero Jones who's running in and blowing up your shield. So just going to push through, of course, wary of this position. It's to peek out the Jaeger of Exod, trying to take the position. He's going to peek out once again, but at this point, is someone maybe in a position from Boblos to make sure they get this kill rather than 1v1. Actually, at that point, Exod's going to drop down. Knowing that's a very difficult position to fight in, he's going to try and make his way back to site from White, going back to Kitchen. But now at the point, Bow Blowers have been there. They've been totally signaled on what their play is going to be. So NOKTURNS at this point, how are they going to adapt to it?
Yeah, the Flores drones of JB can remove a lot of that utility that could still be sitting on the bomb site. Pretty much there's just one shield. And actually, never mind, there's two. Sykes did not bring impacts. He brought a shield, but Hitman, he brought nades, and down goes the smoke. A very important op for stopping a push on a late execute will fall first, and that's not what you want to see out of your hard support. Hitman, he got a kill from this position, and it seems like the AUG of Lackey doesn't know that he's still on big window, and he's going to swing out and die? Big question marks here. A search. He's inside the bomb site. He's letting the LMG sing. He's pushing like a madman, going every which direction as a whole bunch of kills are going everywhere. It's just Sykes left alone in a 1v4. It will take a Herculean effort from the Post Malone fan himself to get this round under wraps for the side of Nocturnes and push them to match point. And taking one shot onto Evil Clown will be a good first step, but that's about all he'll get as JB gets that refrag.
That was just a round where it was kind of seeing what Nocturnes would do to, return that, because you can tell what the push is going to be. They're pushing from games. They're trying to push up. They're going through trophy. They've dealt with that extension. They've pushed out the player who was an addict at that point. But you can see here the kills were the most important part here. Getting that, that grenade on the poison. They were just smoke, so you can't really deny that plan except for a C4. And then Lackey being stuck in the corner. You saw Search just trying to just push through Zofia with the LMG. They had intel on what these players are at. They just gunned them down as they pushed through. Having that full control, clearing out bunker, having the full control of games at that point. At that point, Nocturnes are forced to have to push through and take fights. They probably push through. They don't have a utility to stop the plant. And you can see from there, the rest of the Bubbleos had the angles, had exactly knew what was going on at that point, had the round in wraps.
Yep, good attack. As it boils down to, you can just say, that was a pretty good attack. Pretty good attack.
Solid intel.
And for the side of Nocturnes, they don't want to go to a tertiary bomb site. That's not fun. They want to retry and try to fix their issues, which a lot of them could be fixed from poison not falling early. And then Lackey kind of ego challenging big window. Not a fun gunfight to take, where if he's in that position, the only way that they would have been able to take him out was nades, which I believe were non-existent, not remaining on the side of bubble blowers, or, the player of Hitman having to just jump in, which is not an advantageous gunfight because you got to jump in, then turn 90 degrees and try to flick and hit a disgusting headshot, but probably wouldn't have worked out in his favor. But everything else on the side of Nocturnes looks pretty similar, except there's one yellow icon op swapped out for another. In comes the Bandit, adding just another layer to the defense of having to remove utility. The Bandit batteries over towards Classroom, which are probably the easiest thing to remove for a pug stack. You know that you just open up the window and nade or Zof charge or do anything to remove them.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Again, if they don't know the band's there though, and they just go for it.
Well, it's a lot harder to not know that there's Bandit batteries as opposed to like a mute jammer.
I mean, if the batteries are there right now, that's my question. If they're already placed on the wall, or if they're trying to bandit trick, that's the question.
Good bandit trick, because Habana would be the easiest thing to bandit trick, and that could be a really good adjustment on the side of Nocturnes and a really good read. But right now, it seems like it's just 4 players on the side of Nocturnes trying to bolster in towards the bomb site, and they're just letting Sykes go crazy on the roam to slow down and buy as much time for the anchors as possible. Which right now, it's been a recipe that's working, and it's been keeping them the lead so far.
Well, it looks like Sykes is now, he's still in a position to maybe flank these members that they don't know where he is. Like I said, they are trying to push towards that trophy side right now, that master side for the moment. Exod going down, though, by a grenade, I'm assuming, from below, because it looks like the gem applicator was able to find a position behind one of those holes. But Sykes is, one by Fraser. No, he doesn't know. Down he goes, Search. And so at this point, Exod's going to get picked up on top of the hatch. But so far, it's been that one side's fair. Slothy, has he been successful on that bandit tricking as he's been trying to play that, because they were looking to open that wall up. But if they can't open that wall between games and master, as at this point there's still 12 in the hands of Evil Clown, but will they even need to do that?
Yeah, the Toxic Babes, they're coming up towards white, making sure that push straight into the bomb site will not come through. This gunfight between Lackey and JB will most likely be very important, because that corner is a definite power position. Down below it, there's a lot of attackers all stacked up, and they're sending shots towards that direction. Lackey could jump out right here and go for a play, but instead it's the pre-fire. Down goes the diffuser towards big window. That's a position that's not easy to reclaim and going to require the attack to completely relocate it. That's what Trippy's going to be going for, as Evil Clown goes for this backside pressure, as I guess technically frontside pressure, as the rest of his team's pushing the back. Poison, he'll drop down Search, and Exod will fall at the hands of Trippy. It's still a 3v3, but a nitro cell in the pocket of Slothy is going to remain dormant as Hitman swings in with the cojones of steel and will drop him straight off. With 25 seconds left, Hitman and Trippy, they don't have a whole lot of HP, but they don't really care. Lackey's still in a position that he could win this, but Evil Clown, he sniffed him out. They'll tie up this game at 5-5.
Wow, some great shots and pre-fires to give them the round despite the lack of control on the side of bow blowers. You could tell from the way they were pushing at the end there, they weren't able to get that games all open. Slothy has done the job. and kept that wall closed. But some of these picks were important. Though losing Sykes early, not able to really do much in that roam. Sure, they lost a couple players here and there in that push, like that pre-fire you saw from one member onto JB. That was unfortunate. Lost the fuser out there, but pushing up white, the fact that members like Egg's already low, low HP. Blackie was already low HP from fights before because the grenade went on to Exod. Just the fact that you're able to walk up white, push from other directions, still win those fights like you saw from Hitman, just walking into from white in. And Slothy should have had the, I'm gonna say he should have, but you would expect because he's sitting there on the corner, he has that position, he can win that fight. But Hitman was able to just, as T-Dap said, balls of steel to just walk in, pre-fire that corner, and then take another fight on another player inside of bunks and win next fight too. On top of that,
Yeah, he just walked in and let it sing. I mean, that's exactly what Hitman's been going for. He's been very streaky in rounds. He either kind of goes for 2 or 3 or goes for none. And when he goes for 2 or 3, those are the rounds that Bubble Blowers are able to, fully transition into their executes or stop the executes of Nocturnes that we saw on their attacks, which, was a lot more few and far between. But ever since that side swap, it seems like we have an attacker side in Oregon, which I don't know if it's a byproduct of the bans, which having Valk up should be a little bit more strong for the defensive side, or if it's just a good old syndrome of teams not necessarily being as comfortable with each other and a whole lot of playmaking happening. And when you have the attacking guns, typically you can win just head-on gunfights because they're better.
Hey, it's good to see though some of these old heads can still fight though, like Hitman, Trippy, Search, Evil Clown, some of these players we haven't seen in a while, starting to come into the fold and still take fights against Nocturnes, who you expect to be that CL caliber team, but it's Oregon, so anything can really happen. But we're back to the baseline for Nocturnes. They're looking to try and win 2 rounds and win this out, or maybe if they can't, they go to overtime, or we'll see if Mo Blowers can take 2 in a row and win it themselves. But we're still on that kind of that basement site, not really much of a roam for Nocturnes besides Sykes, who's trying to hold on to that, maybe that main stairs, that armory stairs for the moment. But so far, do you see one thing is different is the Capcan? So the question is, where are those EDDs placed?
Yeah, that could be a free kill if somebody like Hitman or Search are moving a little bit too quickly. Maybe ahead of a drone, all of a sudden, boom, they're dead to 2 Capcan traps on the same door, which is incredibly frustrating. Seems like Search found some of them, which we've seen too many times that a hard breach runs into security and dies, which is always just so incredibly unfortunate. But seems like Search was doing his due diligence over towards that side, making sure that his good old Habana of Evil Clown stays safe. He's over towards the main stairs, rotating down as they went for this full clear, corralled all of the roamers all the way back down into the bomb site where it's going to be a slugfest down there.
Yeah, I'm assuming at this point he's going to take fights at this point because everyone from Nocturne is just kind of, holding still, playing disciplined, waiting for Bull Blows to make their play. And it seems to be maybe a freezer laundry take, but without a Ying, without kind of an entry op. This kind of becomes difficult going for that freezer laundry take because you have to kind of synchronize it to deal with a person like Sykes, who's playing this position right by the lockers, ready to stop that freezer play from happening. So they'll see Sykes' position, maybe a grenade come out, but that hatch is also open too. Search taking heavy damage. Shot though, great shot on the JB. Down goes that hatch control and try and cover that or get a kill. Grenade comes throughout. C4 in return, can't shoot the C4 in time. Sykes with 2 kills to really stop that push in the freezer.
Yeah, with 45 seconds left on the clock, overcoming a man advantage on a bunker style defense like this is not fun, and they don't have a whole lot of time. Search doesn't have a whole lot of health, and Lackey still has this very, very powerful shield. All the power positions in the world are in the hands of the Nocturnes defenders, as they're just going to sit back and wait. Somebody on Bubble Blowers needs to get aggressive, and Sykes on this position could just pop up and pop a bullet right into Search's head if he so desires. Lackey will fall as the rest of this push is coming through. Search on 1 HP, barely anything, as he's going to get finished off. Triple kill for Sykes. The Slothy's going to pick off another player. Now 2 are downed on the side of Nocturnes, a 1v3 essentially for Evil Clown, but he doesn't have a whole lot of time to do anything. Sykes will clean him up. 4K for the Mozzie. As now Nocturnes, they're on match point.
Yeah, that was quite a round from the side of Sykes in general, really. But really, it just came down to the fact that, Bar Blows had that control, though. They had someone on the hatch like JB, the cut off that rotate, like you see right here. That should have been where JB could capitalize and deal with that aggression of, Sykes swinging. That should have been a point where, with that hatch control, with those 2 different angles onto Sykes, they could stop that aggression, stop Sykes from swinging. But, I guess Sykes is built different.
Yep, simply built different. That's why he was the Rookie of the Year in Challenger League. Shout out to Sykes.
Oh.
Rookie of the Year. And on the short list for Entry of the Year.
So yeah, that's something to be scared of. That's the reason why he's
I mean, hey, he's a 1-for-1 machine, but learning to get your pick then fall off, or to get your pick and stop pushing, whether you're on the attack and defense, that's where good entries are separated from great entries. And from what we've seen so far, a lot of the times he is falling back, which is very, very refreshing to see. A lot of the times during Challenger League, he would get that one kill and then just sprint towards the attackers again, trying to get more, trying to have that hero play. But it's almost like a sense of maturity that we're seeing out of him, and it's translating to a whole lot of kills and hopefully a more consistent play style for Nocturnes.
I definitely agree, because that's one thing, an issue with these aggressive players. They're great fraggers, they're great gunners, but knowing the timing of when to be disciplined, when to fall back, that's something you have to learn through gameplay. And I will, it's always said around in Twitter is that it's easy to be aggressive and then be taught to be disciplined, but it is be disciplined and be taught to be aggressive. So we'll see how it goes. So we're on match point here for Nocturnes. They had a good time out to see they can talk things out before they go on to this last round of regulation and see what they can do here on this tertiary side. Because the first time we've seen meeting and kitchen from everybody, and no Thorn's not available yet.
Yes. We aren't ready. That is unfortunate.
Oh, well.
But do you know what is ready? Every other game except this game and Blocksters versus Team Shiesty. Every other game has been finished. Every other game has been finished. West Garfield, they handled Dallas Vendetta. That was one of the quickest games. Chess Club took out Kathy Killers. Eclectic beat Banana Blitz. We Love Benfield knocked off Goosick in a little bit of an upset. Aerial Arise, which was Gopher, ended up branding as Aerial Arise. They beat Talentless. Noob Slayers, they beat Agony. That was a 7-0. Whittle Kitties took out Goomba Gang. St. Louis Leviathans with the upset over the Challenger League team of Outlast. Gremlins knocked off In Control LOL. But In Control Nation, the actual roster, they were managing to beat off the Plat 3 platoon. Emergence fell to Somalia. NCSU beat the protagonists. Victorium Esports beat the old heads, not OCG. Didn't Ask beat Synthetic. Lycus beat Rated. Asylum Patients beat Senai. Achieve beat Eevee. Valkyrie beat Polar Sun. Windstorm beat Biako. Wichita Wolves Academy beat Mean. Safari Esports beat Mid Mamba. And Shadow Realm beat 99 Burglars.
Well, at least these old heads can hang around. Unfortunately, not OCG. The old heads couldn't hang around, unfortunately.
Yeah. Nothing really surprising in round one for me. Besides the St. Louis over Outlast.
Yeah, that's also surprising.
Benfield.
Yeah, that I would say the Outlast one is unfortunate, because they've always wanted that roster to excel and do better. And
and that's a 7-4.
Well, it's not too bad, but it's still unfortunate because we expect too much out of them. But maybe. But hey, at least you picked the right game. This has been a hectic game, and one that I picked with. Hey, I was right.
Hey, we managed to pick one of the longest ones, so I guess it was even. It actually hasn't been an unenjoyable game for
it's been
all Oregon things considered.
It's been quick enough to not be annoying. That's the good part.
Yeah, just enough action. Enough action. If
we
go to OT, then we start getting some complaints going my way. But it seems like Lackey doesn't want to let that happen. The Valkyrie with Intel is going to take out JB, and that's one of the secondary hard breachers. If they were going to go for this Attic master split, that's all of a sudden a lot more difficult. Search, he's trying to cut off the Mozzie, and he almost gets him, but instead Poison, he's going to fall Hitman. That's a huge kill, as he's one of the, the space makers on the side of Bubble Blowers, and somebody like Search, who hasn't really been doing a whole lot in the fragging department, he's going to have to pick up that slack.
Yeah, it looks like Bubble Blowers are really, really trying to push for that tower control, deal with who I believe there was Lackey or Sykes who was playing there for the moment, and then they were treated, light reinforced, pushed away back in Attic. They were trying to go for that kill, but they couldn't get it, and now they're falling to some of that play from Nocturnes that we're just expecting that happening. And then it is that kind of that meeting bomb site. They were trying to get that roam control, trying to upstairs deal with these players, but Nocturnes need to be playing 1-for-1, playing games, mind games with them, and taking kill after kill so far in this early game. There's still a minute left. There's still time. Maybe for Bubbles bring it back, but it's going to be someone on the side of Bubbles after they get some kills and push them forward. As Evil Clown, Search is going to start us off first. On the kill, onto Sykes, or not Sykes, on the Slothy. So it could be a good start, but again, what control do they have, though?
Yeah, they're going to have to make some sort of play, maybe flood in through split, because there's still a couple of Nocturnes defenders up on the top floor. Sykes, he's going for the 20 bomb. That's what he so desires, as he's going to push down towards bottom main. And Poison, he's found out in security and almost taken down. Lackey will fell Evil Clown as another flank could come in through Z. Zofia doesn't seem to know what's happening as Sykes is going to punish him. Then we get just up to poor Trippy Savage in a 1v4 with the game on the line. Down goes Exod, a little bit of over peeking from the Frenchie. But hopefully, and yes, indubitably, Sykes will finish off with 21 kills in an amazing effort to send a regulation win Nocturne's way.
Hey, so that was a close one. 7-5. Bow Blow is showing us they got something in them when it comes to this game, but Sykes is just that much different though. Wow, what a squad of him. And we saw some, Bubble Blowers had some great success here and there, but again, it comes with fundamentals. It comes to really knowing how to deal with some of those roams upstairs in Oregon of all things, and it can be difficult.
Yeah, a couple too many solo plays for my liking, where consistency, that's the big thing, is when you're trying to play your refrags and stuff like that. A lot of the success of Bubble Blowers came in from those hero plays, people like Hitman going huge, and when he didn't go huge, they lost the rounds. Nocturne's just a little bit more structured, a little bit more disciplined, and overall, that's as much of a difference as you can get on Oregon.
Hey, but still, good first round here. Good job from Nocturnes to keep them going in the rounds in this qualifier so far, and Bubbles, we'll see how they do in the rest of the qualifier. Maybe just see how they do against the other teams. Maybe playing some of those other pug stacks and see how they do against them compared to Nocturnes. But so far, interesting to see them play, and Hitman especially. Yeah, Hitman like Trippy and Search, they got some great gun skill though.
Yeah, they definitely do. Maybe it's their countless hours on aim labs, or maybe it's because they have a phenomenal gaming chair. Maybe they got a Mavix chair, because that is the exclusive chair partner of NerdStreet Gamers. And the critical ergonomics, the sleek, modern look of those chairs, they're a thing of beauty. Right now you can finance one for as little as $24.69. If you use our code NSG55, that doesn't get you 55 cents off, it gets you 55 whole dollars. If you save that much on a chair, you could have bought a Qual Pass.
Oh, hey, you can get some cool features too, like cooling, like air conditioning in your seats. It's ridiculous. I would hope they add a massage feature, but that's kind of asking too much, isn't it?
That is asking for a lot, because when you got the critical ergonomics, like look how nice that chair looks. It's modern, it's sleek.
Keeps your back
keeps you nice and in focus, and I'm sure it'll make your T hunts go that much faster.
Keep your back in a straight motion. You don't want these racing chairs. I'm sitting on it right now. Actually, the one I'm sitting on. You don't want these racing chairs. You want a good chair to keep your back straight, to keep you in a good form when you're playing, so that you're focused, you're playing well, you're in the game.
And if you're focused and playing well, then sign up for Quals, because we still got another one next week. !play down in chat. $50 to grab your stack and make sure that you can try to punch a ticket in, because there still will be 4 spots remaining after the conclusion of this weekend. But that's the conclusion of this game. We're going to roll the bracket and see what we're going to be bringing to you next. And unfortunately, Benny, I think you're going to be leaving us. Thank you so much for filling in. Yeah, you want to leave, but yes, Cookies will be coming in for the rest. And everybody, thank Benny for coming out. Make sure to stay tuned, because we still have a whole lot of Siege left to be played.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Make it up. He finds the draw. 3. Stunning here.